which do you prefer? Like, let's say your house now, right? Like, would you prefer the more freedoms right now, or, and like even with the risk, obviously, and I know that they're heading into, I mean, Florida's a bit warmer anyway, but like they're heading into winter and stuff. But when you look at the numbers that are coming over from the States at the moment with the amount of COVID cases, you know, I mean, right now it's breaking news that South Australia have got 3 cases that turned to 17. Then I talked to my partner in New York and they're getting like thousands a day, right? So like, would you prefer to open up even with the risk of maybe having more cases, or what's your kind of opinion on this whole matter?
Look, a lot of people ask me these opinions and I say, look, it's very hard to make an opinion as a, let's just be honest, I'm just a local kid from Australia. Like, I don't know what's going on in the, like, besides what I see with these 2 eyes, I don't know what's going on. I'm not like a president of America where he's getting all, and once again, it goes for the other people watching this, just because you've seen it on the TV, it doesn't mean that you know. I'm not saying that I know, and I'm not saying the TV knows. There's really world leaders out there who are going to know. So it's very hard for me to give an opinion what I would do. But in terms of what world do I want to live in, if you were to ask me that question, I believe in living in a world, like, honestly, I'm happy to live in the wild, wild west. I know it's risky. I know it's dangerous. I know you could be killed. I know you could be shot. But that's life. That is life. You're going to die eventually. I don't want to be, like, right now, they're telling, I know it sounds crazy, but honestly, like, if you don't think I'm serious, just go look what I do for a job, okay? I do a job where you could literally die every time we do it. And I still do it because I think that's my liberty as a person, that I have the right to do what I want. And if I'm stupid enough to get in the cage, that's my business, not yours. Don't tell me how to do it. And that's what I mean. I don't get when I fly into Australia, I'm being told that I have to be locked in a room because it's for my safety. But I'm like, I'm a 30-year-old man. Like, I know how to look after myself. And that's what I'm getting at. Like, this modern world that they're trying to create, it's a bit whack for me. I don't like it, man. I'm a bit of a caveman.
See, where I'm all good with the isolation, but I say let's home isolate, right? At least then you can like open your windows or whatever. And I but the weird thing is, like, I put that out a couple of weeks ago on one of my stories. I'm like, because they were talking about it, I think for Victorians, whether you'd do that and have to wear one of those ankle bracelets, you know, like kind of house arrest. But I'm all for it. If I can spend 2 weeks at home with an ankle bracelet or be cooped up in a room like yourself right now, I would take the ankle bracelet. But the funny thing is, when I put that poll out, only 4% went for the ankle bracelet. 96% were like, no, we'd rather do the hotel. I'm like, no way.
Nah. But then can I ask you this question? If I gave you 3 options, I gave you hotel, I gave you ankle bracelet, or I gave you just get the freedom to just do your own thing, which one would you choose?
Of course, I'm always going to go for my freedoms, but like, when you've got a pandemic that is like once in 100 years, right? And this is what it is. Like, we will never go through this again in our lifetime. We will never go through this again.
I hope so.
100%. Like one in 100 years, right?
So, bro.
The thing is, this is the problem. It's the same as you say, the gun laws. Now, if everyone was responsible with guns and everyone was doing the right thing with guns, but then you've got a small minority that ruin it for everyone, right? Now, if everyone was to say, look, go home, isolate, and we're not going to put a bracelet on, we're just going to trust you.
Yeah.
You're going to have that couple that F it up for everybody, right? And I'm saying I'm willing to wear that ankle. Like, at the end of the day, like, if I'm stuck at home for 2 weeks anyway, that ankle bracelet ain't going to do. You're not knowing where I'm going because I'm stuck at home. I'm just saying I would prefer to have that bracelet and be able to cook in my kitchen, watch my TV, sleep in my own bed, you know. I don't know.
It's a lot more for your mental state, but let me just put this across to you, and this is going to offend a lot of people. Now, I've got to agree 100% what you're saying. If it is what they say it is, yes, these precautions need to be taken. They really do. But if it is what they say it is, the way they're saying this disease, what it does, then I 100% not 100% agree, I will take that back, but I agree with a lot of the measures they are taking. The only issue that I find, bro, and I know it's going to offend a lot of people, is I don't believe it is what they say it is. Now, we've got an outbreak in South Australia, 17 people apparently in the northern suburbs. I come from the northern suburbs. Let me tell you this, bro. No one in the north goes nowhere. Okay, we stay at home anyway. No one's travelled, and you're not allowed to travel. So my question is, where did 17 cases come from? Please explain to me how we just had an explosion overnight. Please explain that. Because anyone who's coming into this country, they're saying regardless of who you are going into hotel quarantine for 14 days. So explain to me how it got in, please. I need that to be.
I think what they said, it was a hotel breach, and I think it was either a cleaner at the hotel got it from one of the returning travelers and took it out into the community. But I agree with you too, man. Like don't get me wrong. My better half is in New York. I haven't been able to see her since I flew back from New York in March, right?
Yeah.
So I'm here screaming, let's open up. Like I'm over it. Like even with 17 right now, I don't think that those kind of numbers don't justify us locking stuff down.
And can I just say this? And you're just like myself. You're like my girlfriend. You're like my family. Why it affects us and why we have an opinion as such, people might question. Why would you say that? You know why? Because this exact thing, if it is what it is or if it isn't what it is, it affects you and I directly, and it directly affects us, and that's why we have such a strong and an opinionated, I guess, about this whole topic, because it affects us, man. 90% of the people, they're like, well, I'm still at work. Well, I'm not allowed to travel. Who cares? It is what it is. But the thing is, bro, you say that and it's cool. But me, man, I've got an international job. I've got to sit in a hotel for 2 weeks. I'm losing $3,000. I'm missing my family. What for, man? Like, that's why I'm so opinionated about it. For you guys who, once again, from the northern suburbs of Australia, of Adelaide, no offense to them, but half years you're sitting at home anyway. So you're like, I don't care if the country goes into lockdown. I'll still be able to go to 9 to 5. So I'll still be earning my paycheck. And that's the issue. At the moment, we're saying it's not my problem, it's your problem. So who cares? And that's wrong. We should not be living like that. We should be like, okay, we need the general consensus of our whole country to be happy. That's how it should work. Not, well, it's not affecting me. I don't care anymore. And I find like that's happening. Even some of my family say it to me. They say to me, Tony, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, forget about it. I said to them, look, I know you say that, man, but I said I've sacrificed 30 years of my life. And 30 years for this, man. Like 30 years to win this thing. I know to some people it might mean nothing. They'll be like, it's only one win. Just shut up. But 30 years, man, of a kid from Adelaide, people laughed at me when I said I was going to go to the world stage and win something like that. They would laugh at me. It took me 30 years to get there, man. 30 years to get there. With heartache, sacrifice, the money I've spent, the bones I've broken. Finally got it. You know what I got when I got home, man? I got you going into a hotel room for 2 weeks. This is the best 2 weeks of my life. But I should be with my family. I should be with my dad. I should be with my brothers. I should be with my girlfriend. I should be with my family. Enjoying the greatest moment in my sporting life, man. And instead, you know what I got? I'll go sit in a room for 2 weeks, man. It hurts, man. I ring up, and sometimes I talk to the people downstairs from SA Health, and I say, guys, like, you don't realize what you're doing to our country, man. You're breaking us all individually, and you might think you're doing the right thing because you're earning a paycheck. But, man, think about the repercussions you're having on your country. It's a scary thing. We come from Australia. It's a beautiful, free place, and it's always been like this. Why are we losing this? Why are we turning on one another? Like, we should be in this together, not against each other. And it's a worrying thing, you know, for the future. And I really hope that, you know, many Australians, you know, watch stuff like this and hear things like this. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I'm just saying, guys, look through here and see the world. Don't understand the world through a TV, because the TV can tell you any story you want, man. And it's scary what people can believe in what they see, man. Like, that's why, like, I've had so many people say to me, oh, we're just lucky we're in Australia. That's what they tell me. And I say, well, where do you think is bad at the moment? They're like, America. America's horrible at the moment. I said, you know, funny thing is, I actually just came from America. And they say that Florida is one of the worst places of them all. And I said, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with Florida. I'm in Florida and it's perfectly normal. People are going about their day like normal. They're going to the shops, the cafes. Yeah, a lot of people wearing masks. A lot of people are taking precautions. But, man, they're making out like it's a war zone there, man. I'm like, it was fine. It was normal. It was perfectly normal there.
I totally agree. And look, to me, it's the same. I think, yeah, maybe take some precautions, wear the mask. I don't really care about, you know, like, I'm happy to do that. My thing is you know, a lot, and when you talk about 9 to 5s, a lot of people have lost their 9 to 5s, you know, like, and I just think it's a numbers thing. So say South Australia right now, I don't think it's worth locking down for 17 cases. If it gets out of control, if it gets out of control like it did in Melbourne for a minute, okay, lock Melbourne down. But look, even Melbourne went from 750 cases a day, they're back down to 0 cases, right? In a matter of months, right? Like, I'm just saying, so I'm kind of like, open everything up. If certain sectors get out of control, lock them down real quick, get it back into control, then open back up. I'm just like at a point where it's like, if we're saving lives, what kind of lives are we saving? Because to me, this ain't living right now, right? This ain't living. Like, this is not the life that I want to live.
Bro. Amen to you, brother.
Right. So
like, I looked up my friend, sorry to cut you off, but my friend sent me a thing the other day. 1,300 people a day die from cigarettes in America. Just in America alone, 1,300. And you know how we can stop those deaths? You know how we can stop them? Literally just go, no more cigarettes. Done. No quarantines. No loss of job. Okay, some people are going to lose their jobs, yeah. But no like world economy crash. None of this. Just stop cigarettes. 1,300 people a day will no longer die. Why don't we do that? Why does no one say, why haven't we done that yet? But to save
money.
3 people apparently died.
Money.
Yeah. That's exactly my point. That's all. I'm just trying to help.
But like
even
to a sense, I had a look at it. 2019 in Australia, we had 8 suicides a day. This is 2019, last year. What do you think it is right now? Like, I would hate to see that number, and I'm just saying, like, you know,
honestly, bro, you give me goosebumps saying that, man, because I know personally, man, I know a lot of people in my family. I know a lot of people in my I know a lot of people through my life that there's no way in hell that they're gonna survive 2 weeks of pure isolation in this room, man. Like, you got to realize how big this room is, man. This room is like no more than like 10 by 8 meters. Like, you know, it's tiny, bro. It's like a tiny little room, and you're just stuck in here 20. Like, people think that I'm allowed to go out for fresh air. I'm like, no, you cannot leave. But you are in the room 24/7. Like, there's no coming out. And like, when people hear that, they're like, oh, what? I can even hear it in their voice going, oh, like, shit, like, how are you doing it? I'm like, honestly, man, like, if I wasn't a guy who was, through my sport, had taught me so much, like martial arts, how to stay strong, and I train every day, I just keep my mind focused, you know what I mean? I got through this. And even at times, man, I was like, man, this is really starting to get me, like, to a point where I started feeling like, oh, man, this isn't right. Because I'm by myself, man. Most guys, especially you got a lot of the MMA guys, they come back with their coaches. I came back by myself. So I'm in here by myself, man. And I'm like, I just know personally a lot of people who would not be able to handle this stuff, man. And I actually asked one of the ladies on the phone, I said, how many people, you know, have an issue? She goes, from the 5 sites, 1 to 2 people a week could get hospitalized because they just can't handle it. I'm like, we need to rethink this whole program. What you guys are doing here is so wrong. Like, you're doing, like you just said, man, 8 suicides, that was last year. I would hate to know what it is this year, man. I really would, man. And that's what I mean. People really just got to wake up and stop being, like, dazzled by the lights. Like, man, like, no, like you said, I know it sounds harsh, and people would take this as a voice snipper, but 3 lives are not worth what they're doing to our country now. No offense, man. 3 lives are not it, man. You can have more deaths in one car accident than 3 lives that we've had in 8 months. And you're literally killing our country. You're destroying our country for that. Like, just think about that. You know, I know they're big statements, but man, like, just think about it.